Alrighty. Okay. Beautiful. I see us on Facebook. All right, everyone. Hello. Alex DePaz here for you, coming to you live. Um, I hope you do well wherever you are. We have a lovely guest on today that's joining us, and she will be joining us shortly. But just want to make some quick announcements. And please let me know if you can hear me and that everything is looking good. Happy Saturday to you wherever you are, whatever corner of the globe. So again, Alex DePaz with Globecom and Chimaya Funa coming to you. We have a lovely show today. I do want to do some shout outs to our lovely patrons and our members who continue to support the work that we do. I really appreciate the work that we do. We have some families in Belize that we are reaching out to, some kids who will be starting college, and we will be working towards helping them to fund with their uniforms and their books. We also are working towards helping some families living in poverty to help them with food and other supplies that they need. And you will be seeing those videos as we continue to post them on our platform. So, again, special thanks go out to you, wonderful patrons who continue to support the work that I do globally and here in the USA. Thank you so much. Without you, I can't do this work. So, I appreciate your support. I hope you're doing well. Do please let me know where you're watching from. Thank you so much. Without you, I can't do this work. Let me turn this down. There we go. So, anyways, I will be telling you guys a lot more of what we got going coming for the next quarter. I can't believe we're in March already. Where did the time go? So it's exciting. Anyways, I'm going to give you guys some time to join us. Okay, it takes a little while, so get comfortable. Let me know if you can hear us. Um, and I will give you a little time. It's just okay. Want to make sure if we could see the comments too. So let me know, guys. Let me know where you're watching from, whatever corner of the globe. We're international, so we try to reach people from every corner as much as we can. And very excited about the show today. I'm going to give it some time. Give it some time. We got one view. Let me know where you're watching from, okay? So I can shout you out if you're celebrating a birthday, an anniversary, a divorce, whatever it is. Let me know. We'll shout you out. All those things are, up for celebration. So again, also want to be grateful that we woke up today. Every day is a new day. We have challenges as we look around what's happening and throughout the globe. There's always chaos and things happening, but it doesn't mean that you have to live your life in chaos. We try to teach how to inspire each other and uplift and keep that positive attitude. Yesterday was a full moon. I'm all about the full moon, so I hope wherever you are, you were affected positively by the full moon. I think now we got Venus was people who are of Virgo. If you're into astrology, you probably felt it quite strongly. So yeah, a little bit about astrology there. We'll do a whole show on that. Anyway, let me go ahead and I'm going to how are we doing? Oh, it's barely 5 minutes after, but I'm going to go ahead and bring my guest in just to be kind of in the background and see how you guys are doing. Give me a second. I want to make sure everybody's doing well and ready to grab something delicious, cold to drink, warm if you're somewhere where it's cold, and get comfortable. Okay. Got to check all these different platforms here to make sure we're good. Chapus, if you're watching, give me a hands up. Let me know you can hear me. So here we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring you in, and I'm going to. All right. Hi.
Hi.
How are, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good, good. You are live, and so we're gonna give it time for people to join.
Okay.
I gotta go. I switch between several of my platforms to see
Okay.
where the folks are and make sure that we can see the comments for all of that
Okay.
as we go through it. Are you able to see comments? Are you able to
I
see?
cannot see comments. No, I just
Okay,
you. Mm-hmm.
that's fine. So what we'll do is
Okay.
I will just read them out as they come, and
Okay.
then we'll take it from there. I Let me
Okay.
just take a minute here to switch over to see the other. Um, when you have several pages,
Yeah,
these are
yeah, no
things that you
problem.
do.
Mhm.
So, but in the meantime, just be comfortable and welcome to the show.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, you should be.
Mhm.
Okay,
All
so
right.
now I went to the other page and it looks like we have some comments there. What
Okay.
I'm going to have to do after the show, I'll have to go between both pages and respond to comments because
Okay.
there will be different comments coming from different pages.
Okay.
Okay, so it looks
Okay.
like we have two comments here. Let's see what they say. Ampi Elamina and Bernadette McLean are watching with me. Sandra says, I'm a Virgo. Hey, I love Virgos. All right, Miss Virgo. Bernadette said, found me. Ampi is watching. Okay. So you guys, I'm seeing the comments from the Globecom page. It is also showing on the regular page, which have a lot more followers, but I'm not seeing comments from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay on this page, and hopefully people will be able to hear me on the other page and come to this page so we can be able to have a dialogue. But anyways, welcome to the show. And I want
Thank
to
you.
introduce my guests to you guys. Anna, Miss Anna is someone I've known for many years, guys. We actually went to the same university. Zoe
Yeah.
and I went to school with her,
Long
and
time ago.
so it's lovely to have her. She's currently in Seattle, Washington, right now, one of my favorite cities. And but she lives in Bali, Indonesia, and I'm going to
Okay.
give her an opportunity to introduce herself to you guys as you join. And please do share the feed with everybody you know, so we can get people to join in the conversation today. Okay. Um, should we wait a little while to have a couple more people join? Because sometimes they get a little jealous when we start the show and they miss the beginning of it. So we could just kick back for a little bit. What do you
Yeah.
guys think? Who's watching? Miss Virgo, Bernadette, how are you doing? Ampy, how you doing? Sandra, how are you doing? Let me know, you guys. Let me know how you doing and where you're watching from. I know Bernadette McLean is watching from the UK. Welcome. And I know you often share these with your folks there. How's the weather? Let me know. Let me know how you doing, okay? Ampy, how are you feeling? Ampy is watching from Culver City, California. Beautiful place. Yeah. So how long is the flight from Bali to the US, to Seattle?
So it's actually two flights. Um, and so it stops over in Asia, in one of the countries in Asia. And then from there, you can take it direct to Seattle. So I take the shortest possible flight, or like a total time is 21 hours. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, that's the shortest way to get there.
Wow. That's crazy. Wow. But is it a straight there's no straight flight for 21 hours. Tell me
No,
there isn't, right?
no, no, no,
Okay.
no,
Oh,
no,
good.
no. No,
Good.
I stopped over on the way here. I stopped over in Taiwan. And
Oh,
sometimes you
nice.
can either through Japan or Korea. So they have these flights that land in Asia, and then you can have a direct flight. There was a lot of direct flight. So actually, when I was flying from Taiwan, there were two direct flights boarding to Seattle at the same time. That's how many people are coming to Seattle.
Whoa.
I know, is
Wow.
that crazy? I almost got on the wrong one. They were 45 minutes apart. That was
Wow. That's wild. That's
yeah,
wild. I
yeah,
love
yeah, yeah.
Seattle.
I was
Oh,
surprised. Yeah. Hmm.
that's awesome. That's good to know.
Hmm.
Wow. I think the longest flight I've taken is from let's see, from here to Heathrow when I went to London, to
Okay. Yeah.
England to visit my
Europe.
sister.
Yeah. But that can be
That
a nice
was
direct flight too, right? To
yeah, it was. It was. It really was. It
yeah,
was nice. It
yeah.
was
European flights are
it
nice.
felt long, but I was so excited. It was my first time to Europe, so I was awake the whole
Okay.
time and really excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drink
Yeah.
all the drinks.
No, I was like looking out. I was like checking out
Oh,
on the
no.
screen where we're flying. I was like a kid. It was
You were
awesome.
you were that person that was keeping the little window open when they wanted it to be closed.
Yes,
So
I
that
was
you
that
can
person.
see.
I was that person. I was looking at the clouds and I was like, "Oh my God, this is surreal.
Oh
This is awesome. I'm literally going over the pond."
my
So,
God.
I'm ready to go back soon. My sister will be
Yeah.
happy to hear me say that.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see. Let's see what we got here. Thanks for watching, Ampy, Sandra, Bernadette. Bernadette McLean said, "I'm well, had a good day, was busy with work. Looking forward to the show today. I've shared on my page too." Thank you, Bernadette. Thank you so much. You're awesome. That's my sister. I'm biased.
Okay.
That's one of them. Um, the other one's there too. Hi, Sandra. Hot, hot in Belize. Okay. You're
Mm.
doing good today. Happy to hear. Happy to hear. You know, so while Anna is talking and sharing a little bit about what she does, I
Mm.
am going to be going back and forth with both so that I could see the comments on the other page as well. So
Okay.
I will be multitasking as
Ah.
Sagittarius. Anna is a Sagittarius, by the way. My other
Oh
sister, who's a
yeah.
Sagittarius, will be happy because we just think we're the best in everything we do. You know.
Well, I don't know about that, but we can. Yeah, we
Well,
can be a
hey, some Sagittarius think that, and I'll raise my hand.
okay. Okay.
Eva Jacko is watching. Thank you. Let me know where you guys are watching from, okay? Because I don't know where everybody's watching from. So again, like I was saying, I'll switch between both so I can see the comments if there's comments on the other page as well. While Anna is talking. So again, we have a lovely guest here today, and I will give her an opportunity. Most of the show, I want to highlight her for the work
Mm.
that she's been doing.
Mm.
Um, not just through her career, but also what she's doing currently in uh, in Bali, and she'll share with you guys and tell you all about that. So again, welcome. Let me just put this little thing up here so people can see
Mm.
um, a little bit about who you are. There we go at the bottom.
Yay.
Take this one off. Look, I'm getting good at this.
Yes.
Alex, you're getting good at this techie stuff that you always complain about. Anyway, so you guys can see at the bottom a little bit about her. And I will give you this opportunity now, Anna. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I know we tried to get you on like a month
Yeah.
ago or so, but our time schedule
Yeah.
conflicted, and
Mm.
we will figure that out to have you on in the future. But right
Okay.
now, we're living in the present, and I'm happy
Mm.
to have you here as our
Mm.
guest. So,
Mm.
will
Thank
you
you.
kindly introduce
Yes.
yourself and just say a little bit about who you are and what you do, and then we'll just slide
Yes.
right into the conversation, okay?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, at first, I want to start by saying I'm so excited, Alex, to be doing this with you. And yes, we've known each other forever. And when this kind of came up, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so perfect. I'm just thrilled to be here and be talking in this way. And just hello to all of your followers. And um, I'm excited to be talking about what I'm going to talk about because I really care about this and I love talking about the stuff I really care about.
Good.
So, a little bit about me. Let's see, I was a couple of years ago, decided to really change things up because I was very unhappy with the school that my kids were going to here in Seattle. I just saw kind of like the light go out of their eyes after they went to kindergarten. And I just said to myself, you know what? There's got to be something better for them than this. And long story short, this Bali thing sort of came up completely randomly. I'd never been to Bali. But it was sort of on my radar to go do yoga at some point, but I hadn't, it's a long flight, like I hadn't been there. Anyway, so we decided to just do it. So we packed up 2 suitcases each and put all of our stuff in storage and got on the airplane to Bali. And there's an amazing school there called Green School that my kids have been going to. And that part has been incredible. So we've been living there now for almost 2 years. And, the school is like everything that it was promising to be. So it's been amazing. So one of the things that started happening pretty quickly after we got there was we started to kind of see the situation with animals over there. So I had never done dog rescue or any kind of rescue. I mean, I'm a therapist. I've just, been working in an office with people. That's what I did. I, had dogs all my life, but I'd never done any rescue or, was really aware very much of, what that is. But it started with we found a little puppy in the rice field. There's lots of rice fields in Bali, and it just was 4 weeks old and just kind of there by herself. And we're like, okay, what's going on? Did somebody lose her? Like, kind of looking around, where are the people? And, after talking to several people, it became very clear that it's nobody's puppy, and it was just there. She was just there by herself. And we started to figure out that that's what happens in Bali. So they just kind of leave animals, I mean, especially puppies, in places. Rice fields are one of those places. So we ended up with our first rescue dog that way, and she's now living with us. And then we found a couple kittens a couple weeks later in the cemetery, just dying, basically, in very bad shape. And got those guys rescued and to the vet and things like that. And so it kind of started from there, and we started to go around and kind of feed animals. So one of the things that is present in Bali is that there are, animals kind of on the street. They're not on leashes, like dogs are not on leashes. They just kind of walk around, and they know how to be around cars, for the most part. Even chickens know how to avoid traffic.
Wow, that's wild.
Yes. But it takes some getting used to. First, you're like, what's going on? Scary. There's a lot of dogs and cats and chickens all around. And so we started going around feeding dogs. So street feeding is a thing in Bali. And some of the dogs that are homeless, they just, live wherever they live. And maybe there's somebody from a nearby restaurant or house that feeds them, but they really don't have a home.
I want to interrupt you real quick and ask you a question about that, because it's interesting. My niece is watching, and I was in Belize on a wellness tour for a couple months, and she kept saying to me, Auntie Alex, you got to do a documentary on these dogs. There's a lot of stray dogs in Belize as well. But her thing was that these dogs, they have an attitude. They will not move off the street. The cars could be coming. You honk at them. They will not move. And then when they do move, they look at you with an attitude. So it was really funny. So I just wanted to ask, are the dogs like that in Bali?
No, I wouldn't say they have an attitude. Some of them know that people go around you, so they're kind of like, I don't really feel like moving. But if you honk, they typically move. Yeah.
Okay. Not the Belizean dogs. Sammy can
Interesting.
speak to that. It's interesting. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just
No,
wanted to
I
share that.
didn't interrupt. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so from there we started to kind of like do more and more doing street feeding and started to figure out how stuff works, and started to find now places where puppies get dumped regularly. And then I started to get more and more involved with other rescuers. So that was over a year ago, and I'm now deeply, massively involved with the dog
Wow.
rescuing scene in Bali. I cooperate, work with many Balinese rescuers as well as foreign rescuers. So there's two types. There's foreigners who live there
Hmm.
who have done amazing things, and there's also Balinese rescuers. So that's kind of the overall, let's say, the broader picture. So you let me know if I should kind of like talk about some specific aspect that maybe people are interested in, or
Right.
you
And
want me
we
to
will
go
open
next.
it up to folks also who have pets, and who have questions regarding anything that has
Okay.
to do with rescuing them or things like that. So feel
Okay.
free. Let me just shout people out real quick. Um, Thanks for watching, Ava, Sandra, Bernadette, um, Beth, Elisa is watching. I hope I said your name right. Ampi is watching. Sami is watching. Lourdes Byrne is watching. Elita is watching from the UK. Hi, Elita. Sami Patnit says, Lord, yes, they feel like they are entitled. The dogs. She's talking about the ones in
Yeah,
Belize.
yeah, yeah.
Rochelle is watching. So cool. Rochelle went to Antioch as well. That's my
No?
other niece. Yeah, she got it. She's in Utah. So Rochelle said, so cool. Lourdes is watching. She says, like some people, they expect the car to get out their way. Shaking my head. Yeah, those are the ones in Belize. Yeah, but it
Mhm,
sounds like the ones in Bali are a little different. Rochelle
mhm,
says, dogs are so close to my heart. I love that people are rescuing dogs. Yes, Rochelle. And
mhm,
Anna, you missed the beginning of the introduction, but Anna went to Antioch as well. So,
mhm,
we have that in common. Um,
mhm,
and she's doing wonderful work in Bali. And
mhm,
we will connect a link so that you guys can see the work she's doing, and we will definitely have her on here again talking more about this as well as other things that she's doing over there. It's really important that we look at this from a global perspective. So yes.
absolutely.
If
Yeah.
you have any questions for her regarding rescuing or any of the stuff that they're doing, is important. I think I see the mistreatment of dogs
Mhm,
often. Obviously, I work in mental health here, and a lot of our clients have dogs and cats without the rights to have them, and we find that a lot of times these animals are being abused. So we have
mhm,
to make sure that we comply with the rules and protect these animals. Of course, we know animals don't have a voice, so they have to be
mhm,
people like you and so many others out there. So I definitely commend the work that you
mhm.
do.
Yeah.
I look at it similarly to children who can't speak
Yeah.
up
Right.
for abuse and things that are happening. So
Exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yes, absolutely. Please do let me know if you have any question for Anna as we go, and I will interrupt her and let her read it out to her. Okay.
Mhm.
So, thank you. Okay, Anna, you can continue
Okay.
sharing.
All right. Okay. So maybe I will talk about, let's say, what a rescuing process looks like
Yes.
in
Okay.
Bali. So let's say I don't have like a shelter or anything like that, right? I just have like I rent a house there. So
Hmm.
that already poses a difficulty because you can have animals, so you have to have a place to put them.
Right.
And there's a lot of abandoned animals, like I was saying. So you can pretty much just kind of go outside and go on a walk and find a puppy. I mean, it's really bad in that sense. And that
Wow.
was something, I had to get used to. I mean, I'm not really used to it, but it was like a process,
Hmm.
just to
Hmm.
understand that that's really true. There are right now hundreds and thousands of puppies and dogs dying, right there on the street. And one of the problems is like there's no sterilization for a lot of the dogs. The
Oh.
local people, some of it is because of not enough finances. Some
Hmm.
of it they don't believe in sterilization. That's what it's called over the neutering,
Uh-huh.
the
Right.
true sterilization there. They don't believe in it because of various things. And some of it is they just kind of like don't even know about it. So there's some like people in the villages, they're not necessarily very educated, and so they don't
Hmm.
even kind of understand that that's a thing. So because of that, there's a lot of dogs being born that don't really have a place to live, and so it's culturally okay to like get rid of kittens or puppies for dogs.
Okay.
Just is okay, including let's say a pregnant dog. You can just put her somewhere and leave.
Wow.
So that's really,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. I have a question from someone for you. Rochelle is asking, do you use a trauma informed care approach to rescuing? Their long term trauma can be so heartbreaking. And is there like a foster program after the rescuing? So those are her questions.
So, in terms of trauma informed, do you mean like how it affects me, the rescuer? Is that what the question is?
Rochelle, can you be a little elaborate on that question, if you may? Do you use a trauma informed care approach to rescuing?
Or
I'm guessing she's probably saying the trauma from the dog,
for
the
the
or the pet.
dogs?
Perhaps I'm
Yeah,
guessing, but she'll
yeah,
probably
yeah.
respond
Okay,
shortly.
yeah. So I would say it's very different, let's say, rescuing in a developing country like that versus how rescuing would probably happen in the United
Yeah,
States.
she that
Yeah,
was the question.
yeah,
She
yeah. Okay,
corrected it. Uh
okay,
huh.
yeah, yeah. So I didn't rescue when I was here, but I imagine it would be a very different process over there. The urgency is such that we can only do the very minimum. So I am literally saving them from death every day,
Wow.
like from
Wow.
death. Um, so there's not a lot of opportunity to do a lot of, let's say, more subtle things. I can sometimes the rescuing even looks like leaving them where they are. That's what it can
Mm,
look like because there's simply no resources. Sometimes the best thing that we can do is simply to move them to a safer location. It makes me want to cry just thinking
yeah,
about it, but that is
that's
true.
amazing.
If
That's
they're like
amazing.
somewhere close to the road,
Uh huh.
we can move them a little bit. If there are no places for them to go, I mean, that's really the issue. There are no places to go. The
Wow.
shelters in Bali are completely overfilled. I've been to
Wow.
many, many shelters, and um, particularly let's say tourists that come and they, find dogs and cats and they take them to the shelter. A
Mm,
life in a shelter in Bali is, I would say, it's probably actually better for them to be on the street.
right.
Not
So
all
she's
tourists. Yeah.
Rochelle said, "I see." So it's more like crisis intervention and what's urgently
Yeah.
needed. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah,
Thank you.
like triage.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I have to say something while Anna is talking, guys. Anna is a psychologist for
Mm,
humans, right? And it's funny how life she's still doing that work, but at the
yes.
same time,
Yeah.
she like her calling is also to work with these animals. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's I commend you for the work that you're doing because so many people don't see that, especially in like you said in developing countries. I see it
Yeah.
all the time. I
Mhm.
go to the Dominican Republic and I see it there
Yes.
as well,
Yeah.
and they don't have the shelters in Belize. They don't
Yes.
have shelters like that
Yes.
for the you see
Yes.
stray dogs. You could see that they got mange, they're sick, they're like,
Yes. Yes.
it's sad. So I commend you again for
Yeah.
the
Thank
work that
you.
you're doing with these animals.
Yeah. So the trauma is actually, I mean, a lot of the trauma is on the rescuers. It's incredibly um, traumatizing, actually. So I have to do a lot of self care
Mm-hmm.
because I
I would
see such
imagine.
difficult things and they die all the time. And um, we support each other, rescuers support each other in their days. Had a video on Facebook one day. I just, beat up a punching bag. I was screaming so loud because I was so mad at a situation there around a dog. So it's very, very tough, very, very rough. I forgot the second part of the question, Alex.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, about foster care.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. So that's something that I've been developing personally as I've been there doing the work is I've developed a network of people who foster for me because like I said, I can only, I have 5 dogs at my house right now, but it's a limit. So in order to take in more, to rescue more, I've had to ask other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been developing this net of foster homes. It's difficult. Again, it's been very difficult to find people. People don't want foster for a variety of reasons. Um, but that has been really is is the thing that has allowed me to then say increase the amount of dogs that I am able to pick up off the street. So rescuing really means you pick them up off the street, or
Literally.
literally, or the cemetery, or wherever it is that they are. Um,
Hmm.
and so when you pick them up, you have to put them somewhere, right?
Right. Wow.
And once you pick them up, they become your responsibility. Um,
And so when okay, let's say you pick them up and the dog passes away, then do you
yeah.
have to bury them or you have to pay or how does that work as
How
well?
does that work? So it depends a little bit of where they die. If they die in my care, then yes, I bury them. Sometimes they die at the vet. So oftentimes my first stop will be a vet. And they will stay at the vet for a few days, sometimes a few weeks, depending on what's going on. So we have to right away test them for viruses. There's a very large amount of viruses that's present. So here in the States, let's say the dogs get vaccinated, there's really not a whole lot of virus that's just kind of out there because most of the animals are vaccinated. In developing
Right.
countries, the virus is there, and you're a puppy, um, and they
Wow.
contract it very quickly,
Hmm.
and they die from. So parvo and distemper virus are very, very rampant in
Mm.
public. So we have to test them right away. We have to really isolate them. I cannot bring that puppy, let's say, into a home with another puppy
Right.
because I don't know if they have the virus. Um, so because of that, there's a need for more and more, let's say, foster homes and places. You have to isolate them so that they don't spread the disease, and we have to vaccinate them. And there's a whole big process.
Wow. This it sounds quite overwhelming to me
Yeah, yeah.
listening to the work
Okay.
that you do
Okay.
there.
Okay.
It sounds like a lot and I know all about trauma, secondary trauma. So
Mm,
I'm glad that you talk about self-care
mm,
for yourself and as
okay.
a psychologist you know
Yes.
that when we work with human beings and we're dealing with their trauma, we
Yes.
also have to take care of ourselves and this is a different kind
Yeah.
because you're seeing it firsthand some of the abuse and some of the stuff that you probably can't
Yes.
even talk about. I
Yeah.
know some of the things that go on because
Yeah.
I've 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 been exposed to some of that too.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
can't imagine. So
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
definitely find ways to take care of yourself when it comes
Yeah.
to the work that you're doing. Now, do you
Yeah.
rescue cats
Mm,
and other
mm.
animals as well, or is it mostly
Yeah.
dogs?
A little bit of cats, but because it's hard to have cats and dogs together in the same space, it creates a whole other level of complexity. So most people will they'll do either cats or dogs,
Mm,
just because the interaction between cats and dogs can be complicated, as you
hmm.
guys know. But yeah, if I find, when I find, not if, when I find kittens, of course I pick them up. Um,
Okay.
but I mostly find puppies. Kittens, unfortunately, don't survive. Um,
Mm,
they die pretty quickly, again from the viruses.
right.
So you don't
Okay.
find them as much.
Okay. Um, when I talked to someone about the show I was doing today,
Yeah.
they recently lost their dog. They have two little dogs, and they
Mm,
recently lost a dog, and they
mm,
were sharing with me that the grief
mm.
process
Yeah.
of losing a pet,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
To me, grief is grief. It's just like a spectrum, right? We lose a job, we lose a loved one, a relationship, a pet,
Mhm.
and so what she was sharing was that when she came home,
Yeah.
and she had to put her dog to sleep because the dog was ill or old or something along that line. I don't have all the details, but
Mm,
she said when
mm.
she came home, the other dog
Yeah.
was very angry at her, and
Yeah.
she's trying to figure out how to cope, how to deal with that when you have another
Mhm.
pet and then you
Mm.
lose one. So I don't know. Have you done like rescuing of like sibling animals and then one passes and can you talk a little bit about that on a general
Mhm.
spectrum of
Yeah. So
of the grief process?
okay. So the other dog was angry at her for the loss of the other dog. Is that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, well, let's see. This is probably what I would say. I'm not an animal behaviorist. I mean, I'm a
Hmm.
human behaviorist. So
Right, right.
again, this wasn't something that was my thing really until
Right.
I was kind of made a face plant into
Yeah.
that
Right.
field.
But just from a lay
Yeah, yeah,
perspective,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, well, yeah. So let's say with with sibling groups, yeah, I would say it is a little bit of a thing. Where we are, again, getting back to kind of more that crisis mode, like we can't really attend to things to in that this is more of a subtle level of well-being, right? Or a subtle level of like discernment about what a dog needs. So we just try to like save a life and place them somewhere safe, relatively safe. Like we
Mhm.
can't even like promise it, right? So it's just like I try to improve. So just to kind of clarify, it's very different where I rescue versus, let's say, rescuing here.
Mhm.
Would probably look, we could work a little bit more with more subtle issues such
Right.
as grief.
Right. And do you think that's because Bali is a developing country and they don't have a lot of the resources like we do here in America? Is that one reason?
Yes, there's just way too many dogs and cats being born, and there's not enough people. Yeah, so,
Wow.
yeah. So most people have like 6, 7 dogs,
Oh,
and
wow.
they're always being born because of lack of sterilization, neutering.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Okay. So
yeah,
it
yeah,
made me it made me think of something. The psychotherapist in me. Obviously, I have
yeah,
to go there a little bit. It made
yeah,
me think of comparing it to like third world countries or developing countries
yeah.
where they're against contraception, and these
Hmm.
women are having
Yeah,
babies and babies, and
yeah,
they're being
yeah,
born into poverty and
yeah.
abuse, and so
Mhm,
they're being neglected, and it's just overwhelming and
mhm.
out of control. This is on
Yes,
a different level. We're talking about
yes,
the animals in developing countries
yes.
and
Yep,
the
yes.
bandwidth to take care of them is
Exactly,
not
exactly.
present. Is not present due to
It's
resources. I see.
exactly. You got it. You got it. But just getting back to the person's question, about grief. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the loss of a pet. That grief is can be very, very significant. And in the culture overall, it's not necessarily recognized, right? People will say, well, it's not a child. Well, to
Right.
many people, it is. And I have physical kids, and I suffer terribly when my animals have died. So it's not because I don't have kids, right? So I know that
Right.
argument is correct.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
that's a very real loss. So I completely honor that, and I think it needs a process. As a therapist, of course, I would recommend really take the time to grieve. That's so important to physically feel it.
Hmm.
You got to be
And
willing to go to that place.
right. And see, again, as a therapist, both you and I, we
Yeah,
know these things. And so many
yeah,
people that I talk to,
mm,
whether they're dealing with the loss of a loved one or the
yeah,
loss of a
yeah,
pet, what
yeah,
they say to me is that the way they
mm,
cope,
mm,
which I don't want to be judgmental and say it's unhealthy because we're all on different
mm,
spectrum. But for
yeah,
me,
mm,
I would do, and maybe it's because we're therapists and we're in the
yeah,
field and we've learned how
yeah,
to do self care. But I would sit with my feelings, cry, scream, punch something,
mhm,
let it out, and
mhm.
experience that pain.
Let it
And
go. Yeah,
most people that I talk to, whether it's losing
mhm,
a pet or whatever,
yeah,
they say they have to go back to work right away. They have to stay busy,
yes,
but they're just running away from the pain.
yeah,
And it might feel safe to them in a moment, but
yeah,
it just lingers on, and eventually they have to deal with it.
mhm,
So
yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
yeah, yeah. It's a very tricky thing, and you don't have to deal with it, but it will deal with you. Yeah, if you don't deal with it.
Right, right,
And it's
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. It's my
yeah,
point exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. But
Yeah.
I can't emphasize so much. It makes me
Mhm,
think of my own country in
mhm,
Belize because we do have a lot of stray animals and mostly
mhm,
dogs, and
mhm,
a lot of them are in those conditions that you talk
mhm,
about. A lot
yeah,
of them are not neutered
mhm.
for various reasons.
Yes, yes.
It's gotten better over
Mhm,
since I've left. I mean, I've lived in America most of my
yeah,
life,
yeah,
and most of my adult life, I should say.
yeah.
And I remember when I was younger growing up, I saw a
Mhm,
lot more of what you're talking about.
mhm,
But
mhm,
there, with education and with
mhm,
internet and social media, I think
mhm,
people have gotten to a different level because I do know families in Belize who have their pets and they treat them like a child.
Yeah. Yeah.
They spoil them, they do all these wonderful things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's really reassuring. But there's still that percentage that
Yeah.
are similar to what you're talking about in Bali.
Yeah. 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 That's true. Yeah. And it's overall, it's a cultural attitude towards animals is a piece of it. What's being not just towards dogs, but all animals,
Mm-hmm.
toward nature in general.
Mm-hmm.
And the attitude in Bali is rather, I would say, it's kind of like over here. Like their environment is trash. Bali, if you've been to Bali, you'll know there's trash everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, the rivers, the beaches, it washes
Wow.
into the ocean. Yeah, yeah,
I
it's
would never think that. I had a whole different perspective. When I
yeah,
think of Bali, I think of
yeah,
like,
yeah,
like
yeah.
meditation and
No,
Buddhism and
no,
peace
it's not like
and
that at all.
nature. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
definitely educating me on it because it is one of my
yes,
bucket list places to visit someday, but I never
yeah,
thought of it as that. So
yeah,
I'm glad that you're
yeah,
bringing
yeah.
this perspective of the
Yes,
cultural piece.
it's a very dynamic place. It's not like how it's portrayed in the media. It's not eat, pray, love. I mean, there's some aspects of that, but
Right.
it's a very I don't even know. Intense. A lot of people would say that. They would agree with that. It's an intense place. You could just go as a tourist and you stay for a week in a hotel, you won't feel it.
Right.
But if you actually live there, if you kind of, go into, let's say,
Right.
away from the tourist areas, it's very intense. Not a
Wow.
particularly peaceful place. Yeah.
And you've lived there for 2 years. So,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
some way, it must have been your calling because you just randomly packed
All
up
around the world.
bags and
Yes. Yes.
chose this place. And your
Yes.
purpose, I would have to say, is
Yeah.
also to be
Mhm.
doing, they always say we are exactly where we need to be at any
Mhm.
given time at that
Mhm.
specific. So, you are exactly where you need to be doing this work in Bali for these animals for
Yeah.
however long that time
Yeah.
frame may last. But that
Yeah.
is something that you're meant to do. So, again, I commend you. Let me
Yeah.
just shout our folks out, and we have some
Okay.
comments here. Let me
Okay.
read the comments first.
Yeah.
So Sami said, yes, it has gotten a lot better now. Now, she's referring to Belize.
Yeah.
Not as many dogs in the streets anymore. And
Mhm.
then Eddie Wade Garcia says, the brochure makes it look like paradise. He's talking about Bali. Yeah, so wow.
Well,
They
the tourist
probably,
areas are.
yeah, I'm sure they show the touristy areas, but to
Yeah.
see the real culture, that
Yeah.
is in so many countries, though.
Yeah.
Bernadette says, "We don't have any dogs, but here in England, There are dog lovers for sure. Yes.
Yeah. 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 Good.
Yeah. So if I didn't have you on the show, I mean,
Mm.
I know I've known you for a long time. We haven't
Yeah.
talked
Yeah.
in depth about what it's like being in Bali, and
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have this. It's romanticized, like what Eddie says. It's like the brochures, like oh, beautiful beaches, but we're not seeing what you're talking about. There's
Yeah.
trash everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
The stray animals. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good to have this perspective because
Mhm.
so many times we are given something
Mhm.
that's really completely different. And that's why when I go to countries, I like to visit the rural area. I like to go
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
villages and see the culture versus experience. Yes, it's nice to have the touristy thing, but I also want to get that piece so that I can get the
Mhm.
whole experience of that place. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Sandra said, "Do you like living in Bali, although it's not what the outside world think it is?"
Hmm.
Question for you.
Yes. Great question. Yeah. I keep asking myself that question. I mean, I'm still there, right? So I must like it enough. It's not the kind of place that I personally can ever call really my home in a sense that I know I'll never be fully integrated. So I moved to United States, like you, Alex. I'm from another country. I moved from Estonia. It was back then the Soviet Union. So I've already done like a cultural integration and a
Hmm.
big immigration. I was a refugee. And in the United States, I mean, I feel, mostly integrated. Yeah, I can fully pass,
Hmm.
for a, person who has, lives here,
Yeah,
like, or I don't know what to call it, American person, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah.
In Bali, yeah,
And you've been educated here
I've been
as
educated here. Exactly. Yeah.
psychologist.
Yes. So in Bali, I can never be. It will never happen, just because the culture is very different, And so the Balinese culture really is its own thing, and it functions in parallel to the foreigners that are there.
Mm.
So there's a lot of foreigners who live there, have made it their home, but they're more like on parallel tracks. I mean, they interact minimally. Yeah, so Balinese kind of really do things their own way. It's very deeply traditional culture. They've done things the same way for hundreds of years. A friend of ours, I visited him at his house. He was having an event for his son, and his family has lived in that house for 800 years.
What? Wow.
800 years.
How many generations?
Exactly.
Wow.
And that's normal. So they live in these family compounds, and so it's like a place that's surrounded by it's enclosed, and then there's little houses, like one-room houses
Uh-huh.
in it. And each little house is occupied by a little family unit. Like grandpa and grandma live over here, and great grandma and great papa over here. And
Wow.
when the it's a very deeply heterosexual society. Also, when the woman marries the
Mm-hmm.
marries the son, she moves into the husband's house, into the compound, and starts
Oh,
to live there.
oh, wow.
And then it
That's so
rotates like
interesting.
that, and that's how it stays in the family. So the homelessness is not an issue there.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's
Hmm.
amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you again. You're
Yeah.
really educating us on this. We have some questions or some
Yeah.
comments here.
Yeah.
Um, okay, let's see. Okay, the last one was asking you how you like living there. And then Rochelle asked, how can we help her rescuing cause? And we will make sure we put a link or connect
Yeah. Yeah.
so we can help. Okay.
Yeah.
And Sandra said 40 generations, 800 years.
She counted. That's
She
good.
did the math. Okay.
Okay.
And then
Okay. Okay.
Eddie says they have
Mhm.
chickens all over the roads like
Yeah.
stray
Yeah.
dogs. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm assuming, Eddie, you probably have visited there or you're commenting on that. But yeah, that's
Mhm.
what Anna was saying, that they do have
Yeah.
chickens and dogs and cats and
Mm.
all
Yep.
kinds of stuff. So
Yeah.
that's
Kids. Yeah. They
amazing.
all are kind of like on the street. That at first it's like, oh my gosh, especially coming from the United States where everybody's seatbelts and helmets and
It must have been a culture shock for you.
massive. Yeah. It was a
Yeah.
massive culture
Well,
shock.
you really are educating us, because I had this preconceived notion,
Mm.
like the brochure puts it, as
Yeah. Yeah.
Bali,
Yeah.
Indonesia, yes, you have the cultural piece, but it's like,
Mm.
peaceful and and namaste and all of that. And it probably is
Uh,
Buddhism the main
no,
religion?
Hinduism.
Oh,
Hinduism.
Hinduism.
Yes, yeah. The
Wow,
Balinese,
okay.
they are Hindu, but so the interesting thing is a lot of Westerners go there to do yoga. It's like a yoga mecca, especially
Wow.
Ubud there has places to
Wow,
do it.
that's wild.
But guess what? Balinese themselves don't practice yoga.
They don't.
No. It took me several months to figure that out. I was like, why is it only foreigners in yoga classes?
Oh my
Besides the
god.
financial piece, oh my gosh, and I asked about it. So yoga is that it's not part of that line of Hinduism.
Wow, I
Yeah,
see. Wow,
yeah.
but yet everybody, and they go on retreats. You see
Foreigners,
Americans are
yes,
retreats. We go into
yes.
Bali and
Yeah, not just
wow.
Americans, but people from all over the Western world
Yes,
go. Yeah, yep, yep, yep.
that's
Yeah, so
wild.
it's interesting to know that. Yes.
Oh, Eddie said
Yeah.
Hawaii. Okay. Like in Hawaii, I guess they have chickens on the roads too, huh?
Mhm.
Um she came up with 20 years, one generation. Okay. You're doing the math. I think you're an accountant. Good job. Uh Oh, he said we lived there for 5 years. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Excellent, Eddie.
yeah.
Thanks for sharing. So, chickens, a lot of those places, there's chickens. Well, in Belize, we see chickens and roosters around too.
Mhm, mhm,
Not as much, though. So much is
mhm,
changing. Sandra said, what? Ah, laugh out loud. And then Bernadette said, love that idea, living together. It takes a community for real. Yes,
mhm.
that is a
Yeah,
concept I really
yeah,
like.
yeah.
Because it's like, for some culture, they like, for the Mexican American culture, a lot of them live in the same home,
Yeah.
but you're dealing with like when there's dysfunctions, but when
Mhm.
you have your little compound, you get pissed off at someone, you
Yeah.
go to your little house and you're like,
Yes.
I got my space. You
Yeah.
can't escape into the bathroom or in the same room
Mm,
or the same house.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that idea. I
I know. I
really
love it too,
do.
actually. Yeah. Yeah,
I
I love it
love
too.
it.
But yeah. But at the same time, living with your spouse's family, I don't know. I mean, that
Yeah.
has its own difficulty, I
That
think.
is difficult,
Yeah.
and a lot of culture does that. A
Yeah.
lot of
Mhm.
Latin cultures, that's very
Mhm.
common. You get married,
Yeah.
you go and you live in the home, and it
Yeah.
creates a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I think you should each have your own space, but it would
Mhm.
be nice to have your own space on the compound, and you have little gatherings, you celebrate
Mhm.
birthdays, and
Mhm.
I think that community within the
Mhm.
family would be
Mhm.
ideal.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. All right, let me just shout folks out. I meant to shout you guys out, and we got carried away there. All right, Eva Jacob, Jaco, thanks for watching. Sandra, Bernadette, Beth Elisa, Sammy, thanks for watching. Ampy, thanks for watching. Lourdes, thanks for watching. Elita, thanks for watching. Rochelle, thanks for watching, and we'll get you that info from Anna. I should link you guys up. Lourdes, thanks for watching. Okay. Eddie, thanks for watching. Thank you, buddy. Bernadette. Okay, looking good. Okay, looking good.
Okay.
So yeah, anything else you'd like to share
Yeah. Oh my
around?
gosh, there's so much to share. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Should I
go
just keep
for it.
talking or?
Yes, yeah, keep talking.
Okay. All right. So let's say one of the amazing things about doing this was, having a very direct impact. So again, living in the United States, I never quite felt like I could have like a right now concrete impact on things. Like let's say if I wanted to, I mean, certainly working with people in therapy, I mean, there is a concrete impact, but you don't often also don't see it, right? As a therapist, we just kind of talk about it and we don't really know, right, what people
Hmm.
do with it. I mean, we hear about, but this is, what I love about what has really just been like this powerful draw for me to keep doing this work, even though it's just grueling on most days.
Hmm.
It's because I very concretely help. Like when I see a puppy that's been dumped, I know I am the only thing that's standing between me and its death or a life in misery. I know that the likelihood of this puppy being picked up by somebody else is, I don't know, 1%. Right.
Wow.
So that is intense. It's an intense way to just move through your day. Right. And that is
Hmm.
every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
So
that's been also so rewarding.
I
You know,
bet. I
the
bet it
feedback.
is. I
Yeah.
mean,
Mhm.
and so okay, let me just there's a question here real quick. Is
Mm.
mental illness prominent over there?
Um, it's difficult to answer. Again, because there's such a big cultural difference. Um, they handle emotions very differently from what I'm used to. Let's say in the West and in the States. Somebody put it really well. They said the Balinese have a smile for every emotion.
Oh wow.
They smile a lot.
Mm.
Um, it doesn't necessarily mean things. So they smile when they're angry.
Interesting.
I mean, of course, they also express it the usual way, but it's sort of, let's say, somehow encouraged to not express negative emotions toward others. There's ideas about it being
Mm.
connected to bad karma or karma coming back to you. So
Hmm.
they try to really have very pleasant interactions, and sometimes they're really mad and they just like smiling at you.
That's why, as a therapist, I would be like, "Oh my god!" I would be trying
Oh
to psychoanalyze
my
them.
gosh.
Oh my god, that's wow. That is so wild. That is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, so the whole construct is so different. It's very hard for me with my Western education to really evaluate it.
Uh huh.
And the construction of the culture is so, so different. So it wouldn't be appropriate for me culturally to even like
Of
comment, I
course.
would say, on that. Yeah.
Yes, I hear you. And
Yeah.
there's probably, like, again, like Belize, where I come from,
Mm,
there's a
mm,
lot of mental illness, but there's a
mm,
stigma around it
mhm,
where people won't seek the help because
mm.
they think that they will be labeled as crazy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, that's changing too. I'm hoping to have an impact on that in
Mm,
some ways. It's changing, but
mm,
it
mhm,
happens a lot in certain
mm.
culture that's
Yeah,
different than the West.
that's right.
Um, so Martin did just put a little heart. Wow,
Mm,
that's wild.
mhm.
Okay,
Yep.
carry on.
Okay. All right. So, so I will, let's say, this is what happens. I will see a puppy and it's in pretty bad condition. Okay. I say, okay, I'm gonna rescue it. So I'm gonna pick it up and I have to figure out, okay, where am I gonna take it? So I'm gonna take it, let's say, to the vet. And I take it to the vet. It's there for, let's say, like a week, a couple weeks. So that costs money. For one puppy, okay, it would not be a lot of money, but because I have so many, it really, it adds up. The costs become pretty overwhelming. So from there, I try to look for a foster home. So I need the foster home piece because the puppies are often in very bad conditions, particularly the ones that are dumped. They often have like skin issues. They have often no hair. They have
Mm.
sores all over the
Hmm.
body, and they have fleas. You can see them crawling on their
Oh,
face, and ticks sticking out. And so they usually in really scruffy shape. So people will often kind of be like, let's say visitors that will say, okay, I found a puppy, like somebody adopted, please, 'cause they don't, 'cause you just find them and they're like, oh, where do I put it? Nobody wants to adopt a puppy that looks like that.
right, right.
So yeah, yeah. So for that reason, because my goal is adoption, my goal is like adoption, I have to put the puppy through the medical process and
Mm.
also the fostering process. That takes money.
Hmm.
It takes over various kinds of resources, like having a foster home, being able to transport a puppy, having time to arrange all that, right? And it takes me then looking for the foster home. It takes me after a while looking for the adoptive home. Yeah, so there's a lot of pieces, and I work with in collaboration with a lot of people. I
Hmm.
hire local people to
Hmm.
do some of these pieces for me because
Hmm.
as my endeavor has grown. I As I rescue more and more puppies, I just don't have the time anymore. So I hire people, mostly women. I also really try and make this about supporting local women.
Mm.
I have several women that I employ, and I also love that part. I love that I can support them.
That's
And
great. That's
it
great.
supports the puppies and it supports a family, and
Anna,
that's
you're
really
doing wonderful work. I'm just really moved. And like someone said on here, they're like
yeah,
sad. I'm really moved by the work you're doing. I'm glad that we were able to get you on here.
yeah,
And Globecom will definitely be collaborating with you to see
yeah.
how we can get
Okay,
people that follow us to
okay.
connect. You know,
Mm.
so yeah, definitely. So again, thank you.
Yeah.
Um, if you guys have any questions for her, usually the show we go about an hour, but we could go over if we like. I don't think Facebook will kick us off or StreamYard, but if they
Mm.
do, we could always have another. Um, oh, I need to charge my phone though, because we might. I mean my computer here, because I might kick us off, and then that would be the end of the show.
Mm.
Shoot. Okay, so we'll take another. You know what we could do? Anna, I was thinking we could possibly do another part because I know there's this is huge and a lot
Mhm.
of people who haven't seen this will watch it from our pre-recording from our
Yeah.
recording
Mhm.
and I know that there are animal lovers who
Mm.
will want to support the work that you're doing as
Right.
a
Right.
colleague and a friend of mine and
Mm.
in the same
Mm.
field.
Mm.
I definitely want to work and collaborate and find out how we
Thank
can
you.
how globecom can help you,
Thank you.
not only with this part, but
Mhm.
also trickle into some of the work that we do with helping women from domestic violence
Right.
and other issues that we
Mhm.
talk
Right.
about. So, but we will definitely collaborate. So I'll take this time for you to pick like the most important thing you want to talk about, and then you share that a little bit, and then we could do another section to this in the future, in the near future.
Okay. The most important thing. What do you mean by that? I've been talking about it.
Yeah. Okay. So if you no, you said you had a lot. So out of
Oh, I
that,
do have a lot.
out
Yes.
of the
Yes.
list
Yes,
that
yes.
you have,
Okay.
if you
Okay.
pick what you find
Yeah.
is you're
Sure.
most passionate about,
Mm,
share that, and then
okay.
we'll wrap it
Yeah.
up.
So I think the thing that really helps the most is, of course, like having funds to do this. I mean, that's the piece that allows for this process to move forward, is having
Okay.
funds for each one of these steps. So if you feel moved by what I'm talking about, if you want to help, please reach out. I have multiple fundraisers happening all the time. They're all listed on my website.
Hmm.
I'm constantly adding new ones. So, for example, let's say right now I have a puppy that I rescued uh, just like a couple weeks ago. Was found on the street, and her front leg is broken in two places. Okay, so probably was hit by a car. We don't know, but most likely that's what happens to the puppies.
Wow.
So she's at the vet. I've taken her to the vet. The vet gave me an estimate for the surgery is $500, and a week's stay. So, okay, if it was just that puppy that I had, okay, I could come up with it, but I have 20 other puppies like that.
Right.
So
That makes
we,
sense.
we
Yes.
need funding. We need funding. So that puppy is right now waiting for surgery. So I have these fundraisers. I try to, you know, ask people to help. People who live in Bali, the local people
Yeah.
they don't have the funds. So it's difficult to come up with the funds. Other
Okay.
rescuers are all just in deep debt
Yeah.
because the need is so great.
Right.
So if you want to help, it's very, very needed. It goes directly to the animal. Like I don't take a penny of it. I mean, I pay money to do this. So
Right. Right.
um,
Yes.
I constantly ask people to help and for them to. I mean, I try to send them proof that there's no middle
Yeah.
person. It
Right.
doesn't go
Right.
anywhere.
Right.
It just
Right.
goes to the vet or
Right.
to buy this bag of dogs. So I have this ongoing fundraiser happening. I support many, many dog shelters and
Hmm.
street feeders in Bali with dog food. Dog food is quite expensive, particularly by Bali standards. It's quite so.
Hmm.
A 20 kilogram bag of dog food, which is like a large. I don't know how much it is in pounds, but
Hmm.
like a large bag. It costs about $25 to $30.
Wow. Yeah.
That's significant.
It
Uh,
is.
yeah.
Oh,
So,
well, we will definitely collaborate, and you and I will talk. We will continue talking, and we will figure ways to raise funds to help with that and other work that we're doing.
great,
Because
great.
I'm glad that I was able to have
Mm,
you on here,
yep.
um, and so we will definitely be in collaboration for sure. Rochelle asked, I will link you with her, and she has
Yep.
a dog. She loves dogs.
Good. Yeah.
She'll be a good person to connect you with.
Good. Well, I'm on Facebook. My account is just my name. You can easily see everything I'm doing on Facebook. So that's
Okay,
certainly an
that's
easy way to
great.
find me. Yeah.
Yes, and we will definitely have you on again.
Mhm.
My battery is running low here, even
Okay.
though I
All right.
charged it, so I don't want it to just
Okay.
collapse. So we're
Got
gonna
it.
wrap up.
Okay.
Any
Yes.
last words you want to share before we go, and anything quick?
Yes,
That
my last word would be that if you're depressed, if you're anxious, if you're struggling, if you just kind of like can't, let's say, break out of that feeling, the best thing to do is to find somebody else to help. It has been so good for me to make very concrete change and help to somebody. It feels so good to help another being in a very concrete way. So if you feel down, if you feel depressed, find somebody else to help. I think that's like one of it's just the joy that we feel. And it's universal. We all really feel good from helping. So the joy that you can feel from helping others is like nothing else.
right,
Yep.
right.
Do you agree?
Um, what's your Facebook page or something?
Uh,
Someone's asking if we could put it. Let me see. First
yeah,
of
it's
all,
just my name.
Sandra said, "Thank you so much for the wonderful work that you are doing for these animals. Can you please put our Facebook page?" And then Bernadette
Yeah.
said, "Thank you." So,
Yep.
okay, her name is here. Can you guys
Yep.
see it? Anna Weinhardt.
One rank.
I mean, Weinhardt. Sorry,
It's okay.
I don't know where
The
I put
heart works also.
Anna with the big heart. That's what I meant to say, guys. That's what I meant to say. From one Sagittarius to another, Anna with the big heart.
No,
But yeah,
no.
her name is right there. You guys can see
Mm,
it.
mm.
And then I will also give it to you. A lot of those
Yep.
folks asking are my family too.
Very
Keep
good.
up the amazing work, Anna. Eddie said,
Thanks,
keep up
guys.
the amazing work. Eddie was on our show last week, and we also want to
Mm,
support Eddie. By the way, he's a
good.
DJ, and he talked about healing through music. So every
Oh,
time he's doing DJ, I will share it on my page, and you guys
oh,
can share because we definitely
Eddie.
want to support Eddie as well. He's
Yeah,
awesome.
Eddie should come to Bali. There's a lot of healing through music happening there. It's a big thing. So
You
come
hear
on
that?
down.
You hear
Yeah.
that? You got an invitation. I want to go too, so we'll probably charter a plane and come together.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for
Mm,
watching. This was a lovely show. It was different. It was I felt like we learned a
mm,
lot
mm.
about a lot of things, and I am excited that I had you on here, and I am looking forward to having you on to talk about many different topics. Um,
Yep.
Eddie says, "I'm ready." Okay,
All
pack your
right.
bags.
All right.
Pack your
Sounds
bags.
good.
I'm going too. I'm going too. We're gonna have our own private DJ. So, anyways,
Mm.
it was a lovely show, and
Oh,
Anna, thank you
guys.
so much.
Oh, lovely to
Enjoy the
see
rest of your trip
you.
in Seattle, and have a safe journey back to Bali. And
Okay.
we will
Yeah.
definitely be in touch. I will be talking about you. I will do some short videos talking about the work that you do and promote you as well.
Thank
So
you.
we
Thank you.
wanted to
Thank
highlight
you. We
you.
need all the help we can get in Bali. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. I can't see you, but I know you can see me. So
Yeah, and
bye.
you can look at the show afterwards.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, they already put your name up there. Uh huh.
Mm,
Sandra, I have so many
mm,
assistants on there. That's awesome. We are all going.
mm.
Oh, we're all going to Bali. Maho.
Come on down.
All right, got it.
Okay.
Okay, excellent. Thank you guys. Again, I just want to
Okay.
do a quick shout out to all our supporters, our patron members. If you want to join and become a part of the work that we're doing, and now we are going to link up with Anna and her work. Continue to
Mm.
support us. www.globecom.org, or you can sell at 817-517-0874. Become a member. Go to our website and help us continue to do great work globally. Thank you so much. And until next time, love and light. Namaste.